Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum assalam,
Welcome to
alhamdulillah.
our show, The Pinnacle. Firstly, you have had a diverse career spanning 50 years. Take us through your career progression. I know in 20 minutes it's not easy to sum up the career, but take us through your journey, illustrious journey.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity of sharing my learning. My career has been a little bit unique in the sense that there is a multiple diversity in it. I started with the CSS, Civil Services, and unlike most people who stick and retire from there, after a few years I moved to Exxon Chemical Pakistan, which was an American multinational. I worked there for several years before I went to Bahrain. I was offered a job of human resource in a Middle East bank, which was a Gulf International Bank, owned by 6 GCC countries. I was there for a few years. Before coming back to Pakistan, I was offered a job as Director HR for American Express Bank. Several years following in American Express, I was also sent to Singapore to look after the Asia Pacific region as Director Compensation. So that was a very good global learning, in addition to the Middle East exposure that I had with the GIB. Then when I came back, I got an opportunity, and I consider myself very lucky to be with Pak Kuwait Investment Company, where we were setting up a new bank, one of the premier Islamic banks, the Mizan Bank. So I feel very proud that God provided me the opportunity to design the original structure of the bank, to create slots there, start hiring people. And I'm very happy to say that even the first employee who was hired is still the Chief Operating Officer. The President of the bank, Irfan Siddiqui, he was my colleague in Exxon also. And we worked together to set that bank up. So that was, there has been a diversity of market here so far. I've been to Middle East and Singapore and Pakistan. There has been a diversity of government service versus, the public sector versus multinationals and private sector. And then I was seconded to Federal Board of Revenue, in fact, as member Human Resource Management. HRM was a new function being set there under the tax administrative reform process of the World Bank. So that was again the 4 years with the difficult department, government change resistant. Alhamdulillah, we made some progress there, set up a new system, processes, etc. And then coming from CBR, I got an opportunity to work for transformation of another large size public sector organization, which was Habib Bank. Habib Bank was originally a public sector bank owned by the government, and it had inherited a very deep-rooted culture of public sector, which was based on customer indifference, lot of employment and inefficiencies. So that's something that I feel very happy, transformation of that into where you see in the current form today, automated, centralized database and the class of service and everything. After Habib Bank, I got, that was my last job. I was asked to join Karachi Electric, which was transforming after Abraj taking over, and KESC to KE, that journey. I was the Chief Operating Officer for organization transformation, and I played some interesting initiatives and change direction. After that, I started my own consulting, Accelerate Private Limited, which is today contributing, again, mostly focused in consulting business, transformation of public sector. Right now, we are restructuring Benazir Income Support Program, BISP. We are also restructuring Port Qasim Authority and National Bank of Pakistan. And in addition to that, my real lifelong passion, something that I enjoy, something that energizes me, is my training programs that I do personally, the leadership development and human resource development. That is my passion, and I am working very closely and in fact very intensely to create a futuristic human resource workforce here. We are all a legacy leadership here, and we have a serious problem because of the disruption. And these days my focus is to create that awareness and transform leadership and human resource competencies and behaviors. That's fascinating for me.
Okay, clearly a diverse career. But how were you able to switch from one field to another, totally different field? Like you're in the private sector, you moved into public sector, you're in banking, suddenly you move into power generation. How were you able to, get into this thing? Was the transition easy for you, or is some gift of God maybe that you were able to adjust very easily, I guess?
You know, it's a very interesting thing because it broke my two, paradigms that you have to be a subject specialist to be working efficiently in a subject, depending on the field. I mean, if you are in technology and software development, yes, you have to be. But when it comes to the leadership roles, it's basically a set of competencies that give you the capability of getting the best from the team that you have, from the leadership team. And no CEO is expert in manufacturing, marketing, technology, finance. So if you're talking about the leadership role, you have to have the competencies and understanding of what the business is, what the changing market conditions are, what kind of realignment is needed in the leadership and the organization. And for that, you have to acquire some capabilities. Now, my shift in career has been phenomenal. I don't recollect having written an application and CV for a job. This is amazing. I mean, I filled in the form of Federal Public Service Commission when I was appearing in CSS. After that, what I got was, when I was offered a job in Exxon, I didn't actually apply before. Once I was offered a job, then they said, for file, please give us your resume. So it was not like an application seeking for that. Then from Exxon, I got an offer from Middle East. I just got the letter first, and because I had an opportunity of meeting Mr. Sultan Al Soedi, he was the general manager of Gulf International Bank. He was visiting Pakistan, so over a cup of tea we met, and he somehow thought that I could do some good things. So he went, and then all I got was an offer letter, and then again I had to write something to fill it in. So that was my second transition. First was from public service to Exxon to GIB, and then GIB. When I came back again, a friend of mine had mentioned to somebody in Pakistan, the country head of American Express, that there is somebody coming from there. You see, I came back after the Gulf War, so this was not actually a planned return. But my friend who knew somebody here, the American Express country manager, so he was looking for someone. So I just got a call. You please come, and Mr. Dennis Dunn would like to meet you. So I just went and we discussed, and then there was a job for me. And Alhamdulillah, after that, after Exxon, then it was my journey to Central Board of Revenue, to Pak Kuwait for setting up of Mizan. And all these things happened with the personal offers that came along. But the last job, I must say, was very interesting, which was Karachi Electric, because I had settled in Habib Bank. I had set up the everything system. The painful part of the transformation was over, and now was my time to chill and enjoy. And it was at that time that KE came to me, Abraj came to me, and they insisted that I join. They told me that this is going to be a national service, this is going to be a contribution to Karachi. How can you, being a Karachiite, not come and serve? So that was a very interesting transformation, and I must say, I actually suggested them some conditions of my joining, which I thought they will refuse. But to my utter surprise, they made it very viable and attractive for me to join. So I joined that, and that was, I think, again. So really, it's interesting. It surprises me sometimes that I've not been seeking jobs; they just came on the way. And every job, this is another point you mentioned, very interesting. how do you manage the difference in industries? So when it comes to the management of human resource in every industry is a human resource, other side. And the human resource challenges are the same: selection of finding talent, management, finding talent, compensating them, keeping them motivated, engaged and all. So irrespective of which industry you are going, the finance industry, the public sector, and public sector is a bit different, but so you go and you make, the purpose is very simple. What you're trying to do is to motivate, engage or apply tools which will get the employees to produce their best. So you have to get the best from employees. That is the total job of HR. And my personal feeling is now that every CEO is the top HR person. That's what they do. What does the CEO do? Get the best of the talent and get the company perform at a level where all the stakeholders are happy and satisfied. And I think that is what has been my key learning. And I don't think that there is, for a leadership position, there is any industry specialization actually needed.
Right. Okay, you've talked about when you're transforming their public sector into private sector, which organization you found going hardest in terms of challenges, in terms of HR or operational challenges? Where did you find the challenge, things most toughest,
Public sector.
Public sector, but transforming a public sector.
Habib Bank is amazing. Even FBR, my God, the kind of resistance that you face in transformation. Even today, I'm not naming any specific organization, but the organizations that we're trying to work and transform, the biggest resistance comes from within the organization. And to your surprise, it comes from the top. So it's really not an easy thing to do. You see, the question is that all organizations have similar endemic challenges. First, biggest is culture change, and no organization wants to change because they are living in such a comfortable culture, the culture that we call the Babu culture or bureaucracy, which is a gift from unfortunately colonial days, which we have not been able to get rid of. So we all enjoy authority, we all enjoy holding on most to us, and that is the biggest dilemma of public sector today. I was in a university day before yesterday, and I was asked to give a talk on transformation challenges in human resource. And I was, the vice, I really respect the Vice Chancellor and the gentleman who invited me. It was a good talk that took in the auditorium, and there were a lot of people. There were professors, there were academia, there were research scholars, and there were also people in Faisalabad who came from HR industry. And when I concluded the speech, I was very happy to see the Vice Chancellor was saying that this is also a public sector, and I have been struggling for 8 years to hire and create an HR department. And I have received resistance from within. We don't need an HR department. So, look, today we are sitting in 2022. The world is going towards 2030 and 2020, whatever. And the things that are happening are mind-boggling. The technology revolution, the digitization, the artificial intelligence, these are making life different. It's no more. It's no more the classical transformation capability. It's no more. You can't afford to change at a transformational pace, evolution pace. So I have introduced a concept now. It's my own, and I just hope that people don't take offense to it. What I'm suggesting is HR has passed through that classical transformation curve. It has to be what we call geometrical progression kind of a thing. And I have named it like we need metamorphosis. We don't need a change, now we need metamorphosis. What do we mean by metamorphosis? Metamorphosis is a term which we use for the larva changing into butterfly. And the change is not only in shape, form, color, it's a complete transformation. And so my current slogan and emphasis is metamorphosis in human resource management. So I'm promoting that. and I hope people, but I was very happy to see that my concept was very well taken. It was appreciated by everybody, and it's very satisfying when you see the academia supporting this, because academia consists of educated professors and professionals who have learnt a lot in terms of their education, research, but they are open to not think of the future. They feel comfortable, and even our leadership. You go to the current set of C-level leadership and all, my challenge and my problem is that I see most of them comfortable where they are based on the strength of their education and learning. Question I ask them, that whatever has brought you here today and your capability and your knowledge and your skill today, is it good enough to take you to 2030? We are talking of a different world. So my conclusion there was, now I expect our leadership and human resource to unlearn what they have learned, relearn what's going on today, and then move on with the new learnings.
One thing I wanted to ask you, there's a trainer inside you, itching to get out,
It is out.
But itching to get out at every opportunity,
Yeah.
So has it been like this since you started on your career? And you're now, I think you got more time to train and, to share knowledge, I guess. And you also talked about futuristic approach,
Yeah, I think that's, thank you. It's again very, very good question. First of all, the trainer inside me actually, as I said, is out, and is out so much that I have always to listen from my wife when I sit in social gatherings. I start, giving lectures. So she has to then tell me, oh, stop your lecture. So that is, it's become kind of a second nature. I was not a born speaker, I remember in school, never I was a debater. My teacher tried to make me do some speech, I couldn't. But I think it happened during the career learning and transformation, especially in Exxon, because Exxon, it was very important for you to make presentations. And that presentation, those days we used to use those transparencies and you graph and all. So they then give you gradually the confidence. And alhamdulillah, and the other thing is that, and again, I think it's not a question of, I'm not saying is it any good or is it any bad, but I find myself now more challenging the status quo, challenging the classical thought process. Because I reject myself, I discard my own thinking. I totally, I'm open to change. What I said yesterday, if it is not right today, I'm very happy to accept it and move on. But definitely the thrust for the future, I think, is very critical for our professionals, for our organizations, for our industry, and for our country.
So let me ask another thing, sir. So can you please regulate the role as a country lead? So as a South Asian Corporate Advisory Council and the course as a CEO Accelerator.
Right, thank you so much. Let me first take you through the country lead initiative. This has happened. In fact, 2020, the SARC created an organization of Asia, of our region. And the idea was that we will plan disaster management good practices from all countries, and we will consolidate it and share the best practices for the benefit of each other country. This has been established under the SARC in Sri Lanka, and there are country leads in different countries. So they selected me for Pakistan. In Pakistan, we have made a team of very top quality professionals and government seniors. Unfortunately, because of COVID, repeated attacks, the process has not started taken any momentum yet. But we are hoping, inshallah, soon we will be working on it. My background is to have a regional setup to find out from countries the best practices, like the COVID is one of them. But there are earthquakes, there are natural disasters. So what kind of readiness do countries have to meet with them. And if some country has got some good practices, we would like to consolidate it and take it further.
Attributes to an effective manager.
Effective attributes of effective manager. Well, basically, manager is a very simple thing. Manager is supposed to achieve some goals which add value to the organization. So I'll say that manager, if any manager who has ability to understand the organization purpose, first of all, why does the organization exist? Have the ability to identify and understand the key stakeholders and stakeholders' expectations, and then build on individual capability, individual contribution, individual value towards the organization purpose. So an effective manager is one who can create maximum value towards achieving the organization goals. And it's an abstract answer. You would have expected that good communication is good. Now, let me elaborate it a little bit. These days, I would like to see creativity and innovation. There are 2-3 things that I would like our managers to have. Number one, they have to be innovative and creative thinking, creative mind. There has to be critical thinking. They have to be able to create solutions, because of the things are changing so fast. We're not ready. We're not ready for anything. I mean, today, one COVID restriction comes in, tomorrow it's a different world. Then people go back to the normal, then we come back. So we're trying to align very fast with the changes. Now, a manager who is quick in decision making, mark my word, flexible, adaptable, and innovative. So these are the 3 things I would like to. Adaptable, so does not live in the past. You can throw off the whole, oh, this is what I did when in 2005 this happened, let's scrap out. So adaptive, flexible, adaptive to the new thing, flexibility to get it out, and finding out new solutions. So all the things that we have read in the university and we have discussed in our classes and experience, and you talk to me, what did you do in Habib Bank today? Now if I have to do another transformation of an organization like Habib Bank, there are a lot of things that I did then which I will not do now, because I think that there are better solutions available. For instance, downsizing. In most of the banks, they had to go and lay off thousands of people. If I have to take care of an organization today, I will not go for downsizing. I will go for re-skilling of the people, giving them a chance to come and take over. And those who have the desire, ability to survive, give them a chance to survive. And those who do not want, it's their own option. So that's you keep on learning and changing.
So a bit change question, that you are still going strong, traveling, training and benefiting so many young people. So where do you drive your much energy from?
The common question that I'm asked, especially at the end of every training session, the participants come and, sir, they see it's an old man, and they ask, sir, we tired, how come you are so energized? And I tell them that, look, my energy comes from you. When I see my participants actively involved, engaged, training or facilitating is like a performing art. So, when you go and you perform on the stage, if you have a dead crowd, your performance will go down like this. And if you have a crowd who can see you, who can appreciate, who can applaud, you twice and thrice of you will come out. So that, alhamdulillah, is the source of that energy. And I'll just, I pray Allah Ta'ala keeps me mentally and physically active enough for as long as He wants me to. I would love to. As I told you, I came back last night, 2 o'clock in the morning, and from tomorrow there are 3 days of intensive trainings.
Impressive, sir. So let me ask, tell us about your family. What are the family values you emphasis on?
My grandfather was alim, and he was also a journalist. So we had our newspaper in Calcutta before partition. And so alhamdulillah, I came from a middle class educated family, and my father was in business. But our family values, we hail from a joint family system. So my father, my grandfather, my grandmother, and my father and his two brothers, my uncles, they all lived together until we grew up. But when we grow up at a certain stage, people do have to disseminate. But my childhood was in a joint family where we used to celebrate everything like Ramadan, like in all the religious occasions, and we used to have, and that gave me the learning which I am very, very grateful to Allah. My wife has got much stronger traditions from her family. So my children, 5 of them, alhamdulillah, they are all over the world. 2 in America, 1 in London, 1 in Singapore, no, 1 in Dubai, and 1 here. And their children are alhamdulillah, I feel so proud. They are observing, they are practicing and observing Muslims. They are modern, they are in their own way, but they are also at the same time, they've had, God has blessed them with good education, so they are all doing very well. But at the same time, our religious values I shouldn't call it religious value, family value. Religious, obviously we all have deviated from religion, God knows when, and God knows how much. But the family values of integrity, of knowing what is right and what is wrong, and trying to stick to that, alhamdulillah, it has been maintained.
Okay, sir, tell us something about your hobbies and interests.
Look, this has been my all of us, I guess, a moving cultural and style. Like people ask me what is success, and I say it's a moving target. You can't say what is success. Every time, every day, it's a different target that you have. And if you are able to do it and achieve it, you are successful. Otherwise, then you can question. So what my hobbies, basically you see this garden, I love planning it, I love working for it, and I love to sit and enjoy it. My other, I think, hobby is traveling. Yeah. Oh my God, I travel like mad. Even this is the business travel, even a business travel, I enjoy it. I shouldn't be hating it by now, but I enjoy it. And then the family travel, alhamdulillah, as I told you, family is all over. So we have to go to different countries. And the 2 years of COVID literally stagnated us, but still we managed to travel. And so traveling is my most beautiful hobby. And I just don't like traveling from big city to big city. I really enjoy going into the countryside, driving into the smaller places, smaller towns and all.
So, sir, at the last, tell us any advice for the young professionals who are coming in the market.
To the new generation, my advice will be that they should not necessarily look for a job, an employment. I would like them to take a look at the gig economy, which is the new thing where you acquire a particular skill, capability, which is needed in the market. I tell the new generation the 2-3 things I tell them. Number one, we are all products. We are products, and we are bought by the buyer who needs a product. So our own personal ability has to be what is needed by the market. And market need is not standard. It is not standard. It's changing very fast because of digitization, the disruption and everything. Everything. New positions are coming in. Uber, a new way of life. The Airbnb, a new way of life. Content writing, digitizations, everything. Digital marketing, a totally new thing. So you don't have to be an employee to work in digital marketing and make money. If you have digital marketing capability, you can earn a lot of money without looking for an employment. So the future is in the gig economy is going to be, and that is what the organizations are going to do, that they don't need a full-time dedicated, maybe a chartered accountant, or they don't need a full-time dedicated employee to manage their marketing campaign. There were days when it was the marketing head was a function, but now there are specialized marketing companies who will provide you cost of one marketing manager for the whole year, plus benefits, plus retirement, plus bonus, versus borrowing that set of expertise from a person who you just pay and that's the end of it. They will design your marketing campaign, they will design it. So this transition is taking place, it's taking very fast. And I would recommend the new generation to build on their competencies, which I was saying, you are a product, see what market needs, prepare yourself for the market needs and you will be there. Second point I very importantly suggest to the new generation is that to work on your self-branding. Self-branding is the key for all future successful leaders. Give them an example that you may be an outstanding product, but if on the shelf you are put behind some product, you will never be bought because nobody will ever see you. So you have to be seen, and to be seen, my advice is you are the only person who can make it happen. So you have to make yourself prominent, you have to make yourself visible. How do you do it? It's intelligent, it's basically common intelligence. These days, social media, network, I mean even people with very bare minimum education know how to market themselves, how to put their product, open a YouTube channel, the recipes are there, any damn thing, and sorry, my apologies, cut kar dena. Anything, and you see people are actually making themselves popular. You must have seen that cook from somewhere, Sargodha and somewhere, you know, he's got 1 million followers or something. Amazing, you know, this guy, he is so creative. He has no education, but he makes recipes on wooden, panels, whatever, and he is so popular. So creativity is the key to success, and my advice is, for God's sake, stop thinking about an employment and a career where you retire at the age of 60. That is a very, very low aspiration career.